All right, and welcome to the Underdog's Edge. And this is season 2, episode number 9. And I'm so grateful that you're joining me here today on this episode. And this is going to be the last episode of season 2, guys. And we're going to take a short break after that, and we'll get into season 3, very shortly afterwards. So, guys, today's episode is learning to pivot, the survival of the most adaptable. The survival of the most adaptable. Obviously we've heard the survival of the fittest, but it's really the survival of the most adaptable. And it's adaptable. And this is pivoting in your life, in your business, in everything, in every aspect of your life. Now, if you're tuning into the Underdog's Edge for the first time, I want to thank you for joining us. Very, very excited that you're here. This podcast is for entrepreneur business owners, community activists, leaders, movers and shakers, salespeople, marketers, anybody out there with a dream, the pioneers of the marketplace, the pioneers of social impact. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a mover, if you're a shaker, if you're a pioneer, if you're leading the way, you're blazing the trail, this podcast is for you. It's action oriented. It's about getting things done. It is not about theory and philosophy. It's about action. And I'm glad you're tuning in today. This is season 2, episode number 9. And this is Pivot, the survival of the most adaptable. Man, how important is being able to pivot in your business, pivot in your life, pivot in relationships. It doesn't matter what it is. You got to be able to pivot. And we're going to get into that here. So what does it mean to pivot? What does it mean to be able to pivot in your business? It's about being nimble, being adaptable, being flexible, being quick, being able to foresee a situation or actually just be able to respond quickly to a situation and be able to take decisive action to close that gap. For me, the biggest issue that I've seen with myself and with a lot of other people in life is when life throws a curveball or life throws certain situations at you, then sometimes there is you're taken back, you're not ready for the situation or for the circumstance, and then there's too much of a time lag. There's too much of a gap before decisive action is being taken. And what that does is whenever you have a time lag like that, it creates uncertainty. It's like an abyss that you just get sucked into and you're not able to get out of. It's a very bad place to be. And I've been at that place. I think a lot of us have, and a lot of us can relate to that. It's a very difficult place to be whenever you're just in this place of undecisiveness, this place of uncertainty, this place of, I don't really know what my next move is. We've all been there. I have been there so many times. So being able to adapt and pivot quick gives you that power, gives you that certainty. Look, you're not going to have certainty over how the outcome is going to be. You're not going to have certainty over, exactly the steps that are going to take place, but you will have certainty in the fact that you are in action. You are moving forward. You're not staying stagnant. You're not letting the situation keep you back, press you down. You're taking decisive action. So anytime that we're faced with a challenge, anytime that we're faced with a roadblock, an obstacle, this is an opportunity for us to be decisive. So the first step in the survival of the most adaptable is being decisive. Being decisive. Making quick decisions. The beautiful thing about making quick decisions is you can change your mind, and that's a decision in itself. So if you're in a roadblock, if you're in a situation and you're in an obstacle and you need to overcome it, and you make a quick, decisive decision towards action, you have a bias towards action, you're moving forward, and 2 or 3 or 4 days later, a week goes by, and you need to adjust that decision, adjust that action, then you make another decision to adjust. But you're always making a decision and moving forward with action. This is not a place where you want to overanalyze or overthink, because this is a place of chaos. When you're in a place of obstacle, a place of challenge, you're in this gray area, this area of uncertainty. And then you have to be able to make a quick decision to move forward. And as you move forward, you may need to adapt and make new decisions, but that's okay. So the first step is being decisive. It's so important to be decisive. This is all about the survival of the most adaptable, the survival of the most adaptable. Second step, create an action plan. Create an action plan. So whenever that life throws a challenge at you, life hits you side the head, life creates uncertainty, life creates this moment of, I don't know what's going on. The first step is you make decisive action. You take action. You make a decision to move forward. You make a decision that I am going to move forward in this. I am not going to be stuck here. What's my next move? I make a decision, I move forward. Now, the second step is I create an action plan. So after I made that decision, I create an action plan. What are my next 3 moves? What are my next 3 moves in this challenge, in this situation? What are the next 3 things I can do to move forward, to grow, to close the gap of uncertainty? So you want to create an action plan. An action plan can be very simple. It doesn't have to be nothing complex. It can be just, I need to make 2 calls to these people. I need to recruit this person. I need to call the bank about this matter. I need, whatever it is, I need to borrow X amount of money. You have to create an action plan. First, be decisive. Take 1 step. What's that? Boom, I pivot. I make a move. I take a first step. I move forward. After I make that first move, that sharp cut, now I'm going to create an action plan. What are my next 3 moves? So make a decision, next 3 moves. What are my next 3 moves, my next 3 action steps to move me forward? Third, you want to settle in. You want to settle in. So this is the science and the art of pivoting, the science of the art of the survival of the most adaptable. Your first step you do is you make a decisive action. You take 1 big decision and you move forward. The second thing you do is you create an action plan that you're going to start moving forward on. You're going to start executing on. And as you do that, there's usually a deadline with that. I'm going to complete these 3 steps in the next 10 days. The third thing is you settle in. So now you had that first burst, that first decisive action. Then you create a game plan to grow and to move forward in the abyss and the chaos. And the third thing you do is you just settle in. You just settle in. You accept the situation for what it is. And I've been here before. I've been in this position before where I took decisive action. I made a decision. The second thing I did is I created a game plan, an action plan. Then after that, guys, there has to be a level of acceptance of what the situation is. There has to be a level of, I got to settle in. I accept the situation. I'm going to let this unfold and play out. I'm going to execute on my game plan. I've already made a strong decision, and I may need to make new decisions, but I've already moved forward. I'm making progress. I didn't get stuck in the challenge. I'm going to settle in. And guys, the fourth thing that you do is you take action and you redirect. You take action and you redirect until completion of the challenge. So it's just repeating the steps. It's just the 4th step is just repeating the 1, 2nd, and the 3rd step. That's all the 4th step is. So there's really only 3 steps, guys. It's when you're faced with a challenge. If you want to have the survival, the most adaptable formula, is first, I make a quick, strong, decisive decision, and I move forward. I don't overthink. I move forward. The second thing I do is I'm going to create 3 steps in my action plan with a deadline. I'm going to execute on these 3 things in X amount of days. I'm going to complete these 3 tasks in 14 days. These 3 tasks in 7 days. These 3 tasks in 5 days. And I'm going to start executing. And the third thing is I'm going to settle in and just accept the situation for what it is. Accept where I'm at. Trust the process. trust where I'm at, trust my decision-making, trust my action plan, and allow life to support me. And the fourth thing is you just rinse and repeat. You continue to do step 1, 2, and 3 until you have completed and sealed and closed that gap, until you are on new elevated territory. Because this is really what challenge is all about. It's just about taking you here and moving you up. Taking you here and just moving you up the line. If you're here, challenge is presented right here. Here's a challenge. Now you have to rise up. But guess what? There's a gap. This gap is called the abyss. This is where you take the process. This is the process of the most adaptable. Here you are. Here's challenge. Boom. You make a decisive decision. You move forward. Now you make 3 action steps. You settle in and you continue to do this until you rise up to new territory, new land, a new standard for your life. And guess what, folks? Challenge will come again. And we don't know when it comes, but it only comes when you're ready to grow. It only comes when you're ready to elevate. It only comes when God says it is time for you to grow up. And so to do this, boys and girls, I'm going to bring a challenge so I can have a catalyst to spur you, to spawn you, to move you forward in your evolution. Man, this is the most beautiful thing in life. And I'm so grateful for it. So guys, recap: the survival of the most adaptable. When you're hit with a life challenge, first step, take decisive action. Make a quick decision. Second step, create an action plan with a specified timeline. 3 steps to help you move forward. The third step, settle in and accept the situation for what it is. And then you just repeat steps 1 through 3 until you reach the new level that you are destined to go to. And guys, a new challenge will come after that. So guys, I hope you like this podcast. If you like this podcast, please like, share, subscribe, show me some love, give me some input. I'm so grateful that you tuned in. This is the Underdog's Edge Season 2, Episode 9, the last episode of Season 2. We're going to take probably a 6-week break and we're going to go right into Season 3. And I'm excited to have you tune in, guys. So be adaptable. It's the survival of the most adaptable. It's not the survival of the fittest, guys. It's the survival of the most adaptable. The most adaptable wins. The most adaptable grows. The most adaptable evolves and thrives. Until next time, go out there, have a phenomenal week, and grow and adapt. Let's go.